Hello everyone, welcome to Advective Weather. We have a little bit of an active period coming for the next couple days, so let's go into the synopsis and let's actually figure out what the SVC is saying about this event. So we have slight risks in place for tonight, tomorrow, and Monday as well. Each one kind of has its own reason for why, but overall, things look to be a little more focused for tomorrow in terms of the threat that everybody likes to know about. But every day kind of has its own thing. So, slight risk tonight is in place for Central Texas, with the main threat being for very large hail, with damaging winds and tornadoes being kind of on the back burner. Tomorrow looks to be a little bit more potent. We have a bit more of a tornado threat, a little bit more of a damaging wind threat, and the hail threat is still there. On Monday, the hazard is going to be kind of all risks again. We still don't know the exact terminology or the exact details as to why, but it is still a slight risk nonetheless. So it is important that if you are in any of them, that you are vigilant. So let's get into the reason for why these slight risks are in place. Here's the one for Texas tonight. Includes the cities of San Angelo, Del Rio, Abilene, San Antonio, Austin, and Waco, as well as for the marginal risk, the cities of Abilene, Lufkin, Houston, and Victoria, with Dallas-Fort Worth almost being in that marginal, but being just a bit too far to the north. General thunderstorm risk kind of is all over the state, but realistically, we're just going to be talking about the severe threat here, not the general thunderstorms. So let's get right into what is going to be happening. So the SPC has outlined a 2% tornado risk for much of the area. This includes the cities of Midland, Del Rio, San Angelo, San Antonio, Austin, Victoria, Houston, and Lufkin. This does extend further eastward into central Louisiana and south central Mississippi, and southwest Mississippi more specifically. But Texas looks to be where the bulk of the action is going to be, so this is where we're going to focus the majority of our attention. So again, 2% tornado risk is a bit more than normal, but overall it's still not too crazy. But do remember that it is still possible to see some significant tornadoes from a 2%, just like what happened in Wisconsin a couple days ago. Here is the wind outlook. So severe wind is characterized by winds generated by thunderstorms in excess of 60 miles per hour. So they're saying a 5% chance of that is of occurring, and this is for the entirety of the marginal risk. So this includes, the cities Midland, Del Rio, San Angelo, Abilene, San Antonio, Austin, Victoria, Waco, Lufkin, Houston, and again, central Louisiana and southwestern Mississippi. So here is the main reason for the slight risk, though. This is a hail-driven slight risk with a 15% significant outline given for Del Rio, San Angelo, San Antonio, and Austin. Now remember, significant hail is defined as hail being in excess of 2 inches in diameter. These are capable of producing extensive property damage as well as bodily harm if you are caught unprepared. So if you are in a severe thunderstorm warning tonight and into tomorrow morning in this area, you need to treat it with respect. Hail is nothing to turn your nose at. It is absolutely still a threat that you need to make sure is taken seriously. The 15% non-significant does include Abilene and Waco, with the 5% including Midland, Lufkin, Houston, and Victoria. So here are the models here. So this is the HRRR. You can see kind of there's a few little cells that pop up here and there, but then everything kind of congeals into a line with those updraft helicities being drawn in there, showing some more robust updrafts. These updrafts will be capable of all hazards, with the main one being for large to very large hail, potentially some significant winds, and maybe a tornado or two. But again, the main threat for tonight is going to be that large hail. Here is the threat outline for tomorrow. This is going to be a bit more of the headline or event, potentially, with a little bit higher risk across the board. So this slight risk does include the cities of Lake Charles, New Orleans, Jackson, and Mobile, with Houston, Shreveport, Birmingham, and Montgomery all being in that marginal risk as well. So here is the tornado outline. You can see that brown region. That is our 5% tornado risk. So a bit higher than the 2%, but still not terribly crazy. 5% can actually produce quite a few tornadoes, so it is very important that you are on the watch for this. So this does include Lake Charles and Jackson, as well as a whole bunch of cities in between and a little further east as well. We have for the marginal risk, or the 2% risk, sorry, kind of being outlined by the cities of Houston, Shreveport, and Birmingham, with Montgomery, Mobile, and Lake Charles, New Orleans, my mistake, all being in that 2%. So here is the damaging wind potential. So SBC thinking that there is a 15% chance of seeing some significant winds in excess of 60 miles an hour across the region. So this being outlined again with Houston to the west and Mobile to the east. So Lake Charles, New Orleans, and Jackson, you are also in this 15%, with the 5% also including the cities of Shreveport, Birmingham, and Montgomery. So then here's our hail threat. You can see that we do not have a significant hail outlined at this time. That could change. We don't know. We'll see what happens over the course of the day tomorrow. But we do have that 15% in place from far southeast Texas, all the way across central Louisiana, all the way across central Mississippi, and into far western Alabama. This does include Lake Charles and Jackson, with the 5% hail risk being in place for Houston, Shreveport, Birmingham, Montgomery, not quite in it, but still be on watch, as well as Mobile and New Orleans. So here's the model output for tomorrow. You can see that line kind of make its way into Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, kind of just move across the region. However, down to the southeast of that line, we do see some more isolated cells popping up on this model run. That is telling me that there is the potential for some isolated or semi-isolated strong cells to develop, potentially some semi-discrete to discrete supercells if the conditions warrant. So those supercells are going to be the main reason why we have that tornado threat. But once the line comes through, then everything should transition more to a wind and hail. That is not to say that tornadoes don't happen within lines. They absolutely can, but we'll have to wait and see exactly what goes on tomorrow, what the exact storm mode will favor. So what can you do, especially for tonight, if you are in South Central Texas? So remember, power can be knocked out overnight. So before you go to bed, make sure that you have at least some of these things prepared. You have your cell phone. Make sure it is fully charged and that you have it not on silent. Make sure that if you have the ringer turned off, that you turn it back on so you can get those notifications overnight. Make sure your wireless emergency alerts are turned on. So it is possible to turn those off on some devices. Make sure you turn those back on so that way you can get those alerts should you need to take shelter. If you do not have a cell phone capable of receiving these kinds of alerts, your next best bet is a NOAA weather radio. While a little more archaic, they still get the job done. They run off of regular radio signal, so you don't have to worry if cell signal goes out. You'll still be able to get your warnings, and you'll still be able to get your alerts from the National Weather Service. So these can be plugged into the wall, but they also operate off of batteries. So as long as that's a fresh set of batteries in it, you should be fine. So some supplies. So the best bet for you is a flashlight or two. Make sure that they are nicely freshly charged with fresh batteries. Make sure that they work. Keep them next to your bed. That way, in case you need to move about late at night for whatever reason, you can just grab it. You'll see around, and you'll be able to move to where you need to go. And also make sure that you know about where your safe place is. This being the interior room of your building, or whatever residence you happen to be in. There may be some other special considerations to take place, such as if you're in a mobile home or if you are going to be caught out in your car. But for the most part, common sense should take over. Find a sturdy building in those cases and just hunker down. So make sure that no matter what, anyone who will be with you in this time knows where to go as well, that you all know how to take proper safety precautions. So with all that being said, I do want to thank you all for watching this update from us here at Advective Weather. So if you want to spread the word, absolutely go for it. The more people hear about the severe weather, the more people can be weather aware, which is the #1 priority in severe events. We do also have a Discord server, which will be linked below. And in that Discord server, we not only detail what's going on here in the United States, but we also talk about weather phenomena all across the world, especially on the tropics and in Europe. So if you are interested in any of that, our Discord is the perfect place for you. We'll see you around. Take care and stay safe out there. Bye-bye.